What's going on, Cole?
Not much, man. What's going on with you? I just got off work about an hour ago, and now I'm here talking to you.
Heck yeah, man. I just got out of work a little bit ago myself, man. I cook food for lunch during lunchtime for the people. So it was
Okay.
a little hot day today. What do you do for work?
I'm a right now I'm an engineer for a gas company.
Oh, okay.
So like we do deliveries of gas to like people who are delivering the gas to residentials. So
Okay. I got you. I
that's
got
what
you.
that's my day job.
Yeah.
And then at night I'm trying to make the my side gig the main gig is a songwriter, and now I guess I'm an artist. I got two songs out. Some I originally came down here to just be a songwriter, but decided that it was easier to cut your own stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about a lot of songwriters that have become actual artists. They'll write the songs and then they're like, "Well, wait a second, I can do this too, and I can get that song and that vision over better the way I want to do it." And then you got some of these the bigger artists out there now, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing that's happening with a lot of people. It's
Mhm.
kind of like what I see is like how I don't know if it's true, right or wrong. People argued with me before, but it seems like a Nirvana moment in country music,
Oh yeah,
where like everything's kind of changing. It's going away from that classic, like the bro country, kind of like the pop country stuff, and it's going more rootsy.
yeah. Are you liking the state of country music?
I'm gonna have no problem with it. I like both those types of country, but I do prefer like the Americana type stuff over like pop radio, over country radio kind of stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's crazy. It's like right now, country is so mashed up with so many different types of genres right now, you know, and I mean, it's a good thing for, I guess, the country business. You're getting a lot of people coming into that culture, that wasn't listening to it before. And then I'm sure they find artists that they like down the road that they didn't realize, oh, I know this person because I heard this song like 20 years ago. And I used to, when I was a kid, or, like the Alan Jacksons of the 90s,
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
no, you're good.
I was gonna just agree with you. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing that all these people are crossing over. I think eventually it's gonna like go back to a like a normalcy, but I think right now it's just like exciting. I think it's the fastest. I've heard it's like the fastest growing genre,
Yeah.
and like I'm like sitting here sometimes I'm like, what even is country music? Like, there's like so many different things that country music can be, and like you got Hardy, he's doing like this hard rock kind of country mix, and then you got like this Shabuzi guy, he's coming in and doing like kind of a rap song and made it into a country song. It's like,
Mhm.
what even is country music right now?
Yeah, I mean, you got Post Malone who came and started
Yeah,
from the rap world, and then now he's doing that, and then you got Jelly Roll came from the rap world, and kind of put that he kind of has that influence on his country version, you know. Um, yeah, Hardy, he's a I mean, hell, I guess all these guys are local boys, basically. You know, you think about it. You know, Jelly Roll and
yeah,
uh, Hardy and what's the other guy's name? Upchurch. You know that guy too. He does.
yeah.
Yeah,
Upchurch is yeah. He's been snubbed. I feel like a lot by the industry.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and he doesn't let anybody not know it,
yeah, yeah. I've
which
heard.
I respected a lot. Him like going against the whole system.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about you. What got you into music, man? You come from a music family?
I did. So my dad and my uncle had a band. It actually started my dad and my godfather just making funny. They got like an 8 track recorder and they just started like recording on their back porch. And then my uncle got involved and he wanted to make it something more. And eventually they had even a drummer come in and play. But they're called the Code Names. They were like they called it Americana. Um, I guess that's the best description for it too. they did like all kinds of different genres. They were called the code names, and they did a lot of stuff about ghosts and zombies and
Oh,
like
nice.
and mummies and stuff like that. But they also wrote songs about their childhood too,
Okay.
going in more in that direction before they broke up. But I would sing on stage with them every now and then when I was a little kid, and so like I was on and off playing guitar my whole life, and I never really got serious about it until like a few years ago. In the junior year of college, I had two friends. One was named Jim Walters, and one was named Jared Farley. They were both really good guitar players, and Jared did a little bit of producing. And I was like, hey, I used to do this when I was a kid. Like, maybe I should pick this back up and see what it's like. Because I really didn't have any hobbies except video games at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to do something else besides, sit at my computer and play games. So I started playing guitar again, and then that turned into writing songs. And then a job opportunity got me into Nashville, and the rest is history.
So how long you been writing music in Nashville?
In Nashville, I've been writing for about 4 years. Ever since I moved here, I was already writing before I moved, and then I moved up here, started writing by myself in my room for like a year during COVID.
Okay.
And when everybody started going out again, I got into as many co-writes as I possibly could with people I met at writers' rounds. And if I liked what they were doing, then I was like, let's get a write in. Some people say yes, some people say no, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, I've ended up writing a lot of songs with a lot of different people, and I have about like 14 now that I would like. This would be my album if I had enough money to make an album.
Yeah. What you got any songs out there that have been like hits or anything?
I don't have any songs that have been hits yet. No,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
just uh, just a few people. Just one person has cut. Well, he's cutting six of my songs. He's already cut three of them. His name's Jamie Phillips. He wrote it. We wrote a lot together, and we still do now. But he's got three songs out called. One's called "Wasted Weekend," one's called "Liar," and the other one's called "Boots." So yeah, go check that stuff out. He's pretty good, and I love writing with him. And he's one of my good friends.
What what got you into writing? You just wanted to tell stories?
So I guess I never really had like a way to express my feelings very well. Sometimes I write stuff down and like in a book and then never look at it again. And I feel like this is like the best way to like say what I want to say without um without just rambling or something. Like put it into like an actual constructive piece of art and then express myself through that. So like that's kind of what got me into it. And like those two guys that I was talking about earlier, Jared and Jimmy, um, they were showing me all these old songs. They were showing me new songs, and I was like, man, this is like it's so diverse. It's so many ways you could write a song. Like I could do this.
I was listening to a podcast today, and the artists were talking about writing a song. Like you feel like with depending on what's going on in the world, five people might write the same style of song talking about the same kind of thing, and you're writing this song and you don't hear what the way you want it to sound, and then like 2 months down the road this song comes out with the similar title about the same thing, and you're sitting there going, wow, somebody else is that's a different view on what I wanted to do, and like so many songs about the same thing are done so many different styles. It's pretty cool to do that, to see that.
Yeah, it is. Me and my friend Bear Lamb, his name's Bear Lamb. He goes by that. That's his artist name, and I think just in general now. But we wrote a few songs and, together before he moved back out of Nashville. But we had noticed that too. Like we'd be writing a song one week, and then the next week there's a song comes out, and it's like that's like what we that's like basically what we were saying. It's like I think there's this thing that people say is like ideas aren't owned, and ideals are kind of like collective in a way, and I
Mhm.
think that might be true.
Do you I mean, obviously, I think most people do, but since you're a writer, you write a song and you interpret it, just you're writing it about this. And then once you give that to somebody and they record it, they kind of turn it into a different song with the way they're singing it. And then somebody hears it, interprets that song a whole different way when they listen to those lyrics compared to what you had written. I think that's kind of cool because somebody might write a song about losing somebody, but somebody might connect to that song about like maybe suicide or something, and hear that song a different way. And I think that's kind of cool how that can work. I mean, I guess it's just like poetry. Everybody hears poetry differently,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, like the same way with like those cryptic movies like you would watch, and like you see a movie and you're like, well, this is definitely what they're trying to say with this, and somebody else could just be like, that's not what I thought at all. I thought it was like this, and it's like what?
Yeah,
But yeah, that's happened with even some of my songs. Like I have this one song uh, called, it's either going to be called Alcoholic or Nothing Else to Call It, and it's like I'm an alcoholic, nothing else to call it, and it keeps going and going. But like what I originally, the idea is like he's an alcoholic about this girl. He's addicted to this girl. He can't get
yeah,
over it. But a lot of people, when we put it out online, me and my co-writer Tammy Sue Taylor, a lot of people connected with it, as just being as actually being an alcoholic, and they were like, "This is my story. This is like this is a wake. This song has been a wake up call. It's like you can't write something and you don't know what it's going to be yet. You know?
yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, the word, drunk. I mean, people can be love drunk,
Yeah.
and So I mean, but yeah, it's like or a love out, so you can be a alcoholic to love. I mean, there's different ways to, yeah, interpret his songs. Is that song out there, or is that just up there for just a rough idea?
Well, it's on YouTube. There's like a full video of it. I had a friend of mine named Alex Amato shoot it on my back porch with an acoustic setup, and it may be different when we put it out from what it's out there on that back porch, but it's probably the next one that's going to come out. I'm not sure on the date yet, but
Is that on your
it's
YouTube page?
yeah, it's on my YouTube. There's some clips of it on my Instagram, but you'll probably have to dig. It'd be just easiest to find it on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm on your Instagram page now, and let's go ahead and talk about the single, more like 32.
Yeah, man. Um, so I wrote that song with my dad. His name's Troy Greenwalt, and we wrote that song about it was just inspired by like our grandfathers. None of our grandfathers were coal miners, but we both grew up in Muhlenberg County,
Okay.
which is there's a song written about it called Paradise by John Prine. And it was the home of the world's largest coal shovel, and like it was big into the coal industry. So I said, Dad, like we got to write a song about coal miners. We're from Muhlenberg County. We're from Kentucky. Kentucky's all about coal. Like we can't, two Kentucky songwriters can't not write a song about coal. And I was like, but let's make this song not about about being sad about being a coal miner, kind of about like the good side of being a coal miner, and like what it's a coal miner who like is a really hard worker, and kind of basically kick the mine's ass, like
Yeah.
so we wrote it with that idea, and we took inspiration from our granddads, like strong men who worked hard to provide for their families, and that's how that came to be. And we wrote the whole song, and then we got to this point we didn't know what the hook was going to be, and I was thinking about old coal mining songs, and I was like, 16 tons, that's how much coal they pull out. Okay. I was like, 16 tons. What if we double that? 16 tons, we're like 32. And that's how the kind of the hook of the song came about. And so I put it out, you know, a couple times on Instagram, and nothing really happened for it, and TikTok. And then I went to a round, and I played a round where the same guy, Alex Amato, does you can pay him like 50, like I don't know how much it is now, but you could pay him some money, and he will do like an acoustic video of your song at the round. So I
Okay.
paid him to do that, and he did that, and we put it on TikTok again. And then it just, I kind of like one day I was working on an email with the guy to send out to radios, send my first song for no one out to radios. And we were looking at my TikTok, and he was like, "Do you know you have 50,000 views on this video?" And I was like, "No." We looked at it, and like three or four of them had 50,000, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And then like two of them ended up getting to 80,000, but they kind of just blew up. And I'd promoted videos on TikTok before and never got any. kind of traction or anything like that. But this one just naturally blew up. You never know like which video is gonna like do it. So at the time I was recording a song called Girl Next Porch and I was gonna put it out, but then when this thing blew up, I kind of changed directions and that's how this song ended up being my second single.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I had a few of my friends listen to it. I just had my neighbor listen to it and he really enjoyed it as well. Um, uh, I was listening to the lyrics, and that's why I had asked you what I had messaged you and what asked you what that meant. And because me and the kid at work were like, he's like, no, I don't think that's what it means. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it means doubling you're kind of like doubling your work weight. You know, it's like the way I took it was, all right, there's this one dude, and they, 16 tons, and then more like 32, so you're doubling, so you're doing twice the amount of work. It's like I took it as you're picking up somebody else's slack and working, harder than they are. And
Yeah, that's pretty much what it. I mean, you pretty much
yeah.
nailed it with that. What did he think? What did he think? I'm curious.
Um, he just thought it was he didn't really know much about coal mining at all. So I had try to explain to him. Um, he took the song as he didn't feel like it was working twice as hard because he didn't understand that term. Like, well, if you're working 60, if it's 16 tons, I said it's 32. Like you're like pulling somebody else's weight. He didn't understand that concept. He just thought, well, they're pulling, instead of pulling out 16 tons this day, they're going to pull out 32 tons at it now. And I'm like, well, I guess you can look at it that way too. I said, but I take it as two different, working twice as hard as somebody else. He just thought that two people were taking out 32 tons at a time instead of just 16 tons at one time. You see?
I got you. That
So
makes sense.
yeah, but I mean that's interpretations. But like I said, he didn't really know anything about coal mines and stuff. So I was kind
Yeah,
of no,
like we were saying earlier, it's kind of up to interpretation what a
yeah,
song really is. So that's cool. I didn't think of that perspective, but
yeah,
it's cool to hear.
yeah. So you write this song, and when did you actually write it?
I think it was December 22. I think it's when we wrote it originally.
Okay, and then
December of 2022.
so then you played around with it, and then when did you notice the traction to switch route and then do this single instead? Like when was that?
That that was in May of this
Okay.
year. So yeah, I was recording another song with like a different producer,
Uh-huh.
and I put those videos out for both those songs kind of at the same time, and one of them just did way better than the other. So I went with that, and I don't know if that's a good thing to do. I kind of thought like I kind of wrestled with it in my mind. I'm like, do I really want to like base what I put out based on what does it on TikTok? And eventually I was like, well, I mean, just being a starting out artist, I think it might be the best route to do. I don't think it, I mean, I love both those songs. Both those songs mean something to me. So I don't think there's any reason not to, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, at the current time, TikTok is a very um, popular app, and people use it, and people are finding a lot of music on there. And there's a lot of old songs that are getting resurged now because of TikTok. Songs that are like 30, 40 years old, all of a sudden they're back on the charts now because of TikTok. You know,
Yeah.
um,
It's like the Wild West. I mean, it's like the Wild West with music.
Yeah, yeah, it's, you gotta I mean, I guess nowadays it's just promote, promote, promote wherever you can just to see where your music's gonna go. Um,
Yeah.
it's a lot it's a good thing and a bad thing with the way technology is as far as the music biz. Because you can't it's easier for you to get all your music out there. Especially as a solo artist too, you can damn near do everything yourself,
Yeah.
and all you need is a laptop and some good mics and know how to use the program, and you can put a song up tomorrow morning. But then again, it's like, uh, I feel like going to the studio because I was that song at the beginning there, of my intro. That was my band. That was like,
That's what I was thinking. I meant to ask you that,
yeah,
but I like that you want it, I like
yeah.
that
That's where I got the
look of
name
that
from.
song.
That's how I got the name because like when we would play live at shows, people would always be singing that part. You want it, you got it, and I was like, that's a cool name. So I've had
Yeah.
the name for like, well, we've had the name since the song came out, but as a podcast idea like 3 years ago. So that was our song there. So at the beginning.
I think
Uh,
my interpretation of that is like if you want it enough, you can get it. Like, is that what you kind of were thinking with that, or was it different for you?
honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't write the song. I'm a bass player. My singer wrote that song, but I do not know what it meant. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
but the way I take the podcast though is like, you want it, you got it. It's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get this guy. All right, I want it, and I got it, and we're gonna give it to everybody else. We're gonna listen. Everyone gets to listen to it. So I
Sweet.
like it, man. It's a cool name, and it. I kind of shorten it. I'll say you want it pod, or you got it pod. Because it's like if I that's all like all my ats are at you want it pod because I
Yeah.
didn't want to go at you want it you got it pod, or get a domain that long. It's like typing all that in.
Yeah.
Um, so this song you work on this song since May, and the official. I remember you contacted me back in I guess August, and you were talking about the release date was going to be in November, and actually it was released the day after my birthday. Um,
Oh well.
yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Um, and when you were you nervous to release it?
Yeah, man. Every time I release a song, and it's only been twice, I'm definitely nervous. Like I thought I had a lot of high expectations for it, so because it blew up on TikTok already. So I think I was even more nervous with this one than I was with the first one because the first one was it just started out as like just a test. It was like, can we do it? Can we put a song out? Can we can we get it on playlists? Can we get people to listen to it? And the answer was yes, and it all started out as a demo really, and we did, and then we turned into a full song. We put it out, and then this one, I'm it's the second round, so I'm like I gotta beat the last one.
Yeah.
I gotta make it better. I gotta do better on the promotion, all that stuff. So I was pretty nervous, but I had faith that it would do these things. So there's like a lot of like, if it doesn't, I'm gonna be a lot more upset than I was when 401 didn't do like what I wanted it to do.
Um, and I see your video a little while ago. 10,000 uh streams in what, 3 weeks, 20 days?
Yeah, yeah, 20 days.
Yeah, 19
My
days.
so
Yeah.
like me and my roommate, we work on each other's promotion. We've like picked up videography and photography on the side, so like we don't have to use somebody else to do it,
Mhm.
and and we're helping other people do it as well. And the the last song we helped somebody with, we also got them to 10,000. I'm not sure what it's at now, but the goal has always been 10K plays in 28 days. Like that's what we want to do, and we did it this time. So
That's your production company name right there. 10 Ks in 28 days.
10K plays. Okay, maybe so.
um, yeah, it took my band 7 years just to get 20,000 plays. So you got 10,000 in 20 days. It's pretty good, man. That's
Thank you.
really good. That's really good, actually. And we're and I mean, I keep listening to. I know I've thrown in there probably about 50 of them. So I listen to it often. Actually, it's on one of my playlists. So
I appreciate that, man.
yeah,
Thanks
man,
so much.
I really enjoyed it. So so you the style of this song, it's kind of rock and roll, but to me, it's like rock and roll country. Um, it,
Yeah.
is that the route that you were going, or no?
So originally, I saw this song. The song is kind of like a Tyler Childers like
Okay.
upbeat, like White House Road type of vibe.
Uh huh.
I took it to my producer and I showed him a few reference tracks, and then he heard one of them and he said, "That's what we're gonna do." I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, I think maybe it should be more bluegrassy, like more like rootsy. And he was like, "No, it's a rock song. Just trust me, it's a rock song." So I was like, "Okay, I mean, he's done more songs than me. Let's just go with it." And I heard the first time he sent it back to me, I was like, "We went the right way." So I'm happy that I put faith in him, and hopefully he'll work. I think he's going to work with me again on the next one. So I think
Cool.
I'm not sure what it's going to be. Like a lot. Like I said before, I like all those types of country.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be a rock song or if it's going to be like a more of a poppier thing. I'm not sure. It could the song's written. It could be just about anything, any kind of genre. I think
Are you open to play anything?
to play. Yeah, I'm open to. So I don't want to be just one. People say I got to find my sound. You gotta do this, and I feel like that's true in some ways, but in other ways, I kind of want to do all this stuff. Like if I did an album, if I had all the money in the world right now, I went and did an album, I would do this thing called I would call it country folkacana. It's like all these different types of things in one album,
Okay.
and like kind of like maybe like sections of the album where it's like this is like full on country, this is more folksy, this is like Americana rock, like this is poppy, like different sections.
Kind of
Because
like
I
kind of like Taylor Swift does with her live concerts. It's like
yeah
he breaks
yeah
it up for the albums, you know.
yeah kind of like that.
Besides country and Americana and like bluegrass and stuff, what kind of other music are you into?
I'm into, I'm gonna be the cliche answer of like, yeah, man, I'm into everything, but I really am like, I grew up on like Johnny Cash
Yeah.
and the White Stripes,
Uh-huh.
Michael Jackson, and then like that's like kind of like the people I was raised on. Like those are the people that heard when I was a kid, and then my mom, Nickelback, Hinder,
Okay.
like Carrie Underwood, Keith Urban. So like
So
a bunch of different.
you're hearing music, you're hearing all kinds of music at home then growing up. So you just
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then I listened to like exclusively rap from
Oh,
from like the start of high school to like sophomore year of college. I ended up going to Bonnaroo, and I was like, all right, this indie rock stuff's on to something. So then I was a big into indie rock for a while, like Hippocampus, Glass Animals.
uh-huh.
Like
Oh yeah.
I love the Chili Peppers. I've always loved them. I like Led Zeppelin. I'm into them a lot. There's just it's all kinds of stuff.
What year did you go to Bonnaroo?
Man, what year was that? The headliner was The Weeknd and
Okay.
Chance the Rapper. I think it was. I want to say it's 2016.
Oh, wow, okay. Did you okay, how old are you by if you don't mind me asking? Are you let
20,
me go ahead. I'm gonna say 20.
27.
Okay, I was gonna say 26.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, I'm
okay.
27.
Okay. Um yeah, that was that is your first I've never been to Bonnaroo. How was it?
It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, that's like just it was like hippies everywhere, cowboys everywhere, like just everybody is there and they're just there to listen to music, and it's really a cool thing. um that at that concert actually, I went to see Marshmello, the
Yeah.
DJ that has
Yeah.
wears the marshmallow on
Yeah.
his head. And I'm not I'm not like a mosher, like I get the whole thing, but
Uh-huh.
they were trying to mosh at this Marshmello concert, and I'm like, and like these girls kept pushing me, and I was like, hey, why are you pushing me? Like I didn't know what was going on. And they kept pushing me. I like backed away, and then one of their friends was like, stop, he doesn't want to be in it, leave him alone. And like that's my Bonnaroo story. So like there was that, and then there was also like everybody on the grass listening to um listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Everybody's like laying down on blankets and stuff. And I I hate to admit it, but I was like so wore out, and it was like the last night. I was maybe a little tipsy, and I went to sleep on the blanket for a minute while the Chili Peppers were playing. I was like, dang it, everybody's gonna give me so much crap for this.
Hey,
But I woke back up and got to listen to the rest of the concert. But
that's cool.
yeah,
Hey, sometimes you need to take a break, man. If you're going all weekend and it's not cold, it's a hot weekend, you know. So
yeah, it's a hot weekend. It's
yeah.
not glamorous unless you're paying those platinum prices.
And I always told myself the only way that I would ever go to Bonnaroo was if Prince would play. And
Oh man,
Prince never played,
yeah,
and so I've never been to Bonnaroo, but I got to see Prince. I saw him twice. So Um,
That's awesome.
it was pretty epic. And George Clinton from the Funkadelic, he was there.
Okay.
He came out and did a song with them. It was pretty cool. But um, what's some have you played with anybody in the scene down there? Like any big artists or any coming up artists?
So, I mean, I played lots of writers rounds, and lots of people are on those. Like, and like they'll play around, and then 2 months later, you're like, oh, they're famous now. It's like, what's going on? But I guess the notable ones is like I opened for a guy named this guy named Kelsey Hart, who's just got some traction on country radio and XM and stuff. It was a song about his wife, and I think the video is actually partly their wedding, but it's called Life with You. And he's like the probably the biggest artist I've opened for. I opened for him in our hometown, like like Muhlenberg County, downtown Greenville. And other than that, they're like I shared a round with a game Chase McDaniel. He's got this big song for line dancing called Project. And then let's see who else. There's a lot of up and coming songwriters that I've been on the same bill as, maybe not in the same on the same stage at the same time, but there's like a lot of different people. Like everybody in Nashville has the potential of just, overnight getting a song cut or, a song go viral or something like that. So there's a lot of people. There's a couple people that are my friends that I would like say you should listen to if you like. If you're interested in different kinds of country, like other than the radio, like S.J. McDonald, she's one of my kind of my friend, and she's doing a lot of cool things. I like her stuff. Um, let's see who else am I thinking of here. My friend Chris Perrine, you should check him out too. Um,
Okay,
there's yeah, there's a lot of people. I can't think of anybody that besides Kelsey that I would say I like open for played with.
cool. During the CMA, what week are you down in Nashville? Are you down in there with all that when it's CMA Fest week?
I haven't played CMA Fest yet, but I've been down there while it's going on just to see what's going on.
It's in
But I haven't played it yet. But hopefully in the next couple of years I'll be down there.
Yeah. I don't go to Nashville during that time. I stayed away from downtown Nashville during CMA week. Um,
Yeah,
my buddy, he does the setup for during over there LP Field, or I guess it's Nissan Stadium now. He'll go over
yeah.
there and they set it all up, the stage. He does that, and then he does like the CMA awards. He sets all that stuff up, and it's like it's cool to see that kind of stuff. That's about as all I see for the that week is through
So
him.
you go in, you help him set up or
No,
something?
no, no. I watch him through his photographs on Instagram doing
Oh,
it. Yeah, he's tried to get me a job down there years ago, and I just said no. But now I kick myself in the butt because I could probably see some cool stuff. I think he just got offered to do um, doing the stage work for the Lincoln Park tour.
oh,
But
that's awesome.
I think he had to turn it down because he has an animal. He'd be gone too long to
Gotcha.
so. But it would be cool to be on tour with Lincoln Park and the whole US
Yeah, it
leg,
would.
Um it-
Yeah, they're killers. They're awesome.
yeah.
Those were another people I grew up listening to.
Yeah. I don't think you could have turned around back in the 2000s and not have heard Linkin Park somewhere because they were,
Yeah.
I mean, soundtracks, commercials, every radio station, it was just Linkin Park, they're good. They have some good stuff. When they first came out, I was like, and then I was like, all right, I can see, I see what's up. I see the whole hype.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah. So what's your goal right now? Like, what does Cole want to do? Does Cole want to be strictly a writer, or does Cole want to be a writer but also a musician?
I want to be the second one. I want to be a writer and an artist. Like I want
Yeah,
people to cut my songs, but I also want to be touring myself. I'd like to like in the next year or so somehow get in as a opening act for somebody who's like a couple levels above me. as in terms of fans and stuff.
How do you go in the country world? Like, how do you go about becoming like somebody's like opening act? Do you have to have like ties with somebody? Do you got to have like a lot of streams, or you got to have a buzz?
I think it's kind of a combination of all
Yeah,
those things. Like, I think the most important thing is who, and for it, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's about who you know. Like, if you know somebody, it's all about hanging out. Like, um, my uncle, he's been a writer in town for a long time. Hasn't got like any major label cuts or anything. But one time he went to his like BMI rep, and they told him, you're a good writer, but I got great writers I can't get cuts for." And then he was like, "But I also have bad writers who are getting cuts because they went and hung out at Losers, or they went and hung out at Red Door." So like, it's really about who your network is here in Nashville. I think big time.
yeah,
So like, um, yeah, that's kind of like one of the things you have to do is go hang out and meet people and become friends with people. I think that's probably the most important part. And then otherwise, you got to be good. I think
yeah,
you got to be good. You got to make your own buzz. You got to show that you're working hard too.
yeah. When you're not doing your job, how much are you putting 100% every day into music when you're not working?
So yeah, so of course there's days that you got to just not do anything when you get
Yeah,
home, but
yeah, yeah.
most
I
of the
get.
time I am writing, going out to meet people and hang out. I'm going out to play around, or I'm playing a show, or I'm going to be sitting at home working on admin stuff, as my friend Stephanie calls it, like updating your website,
Yeah,
updating your social medias, shooting content, all this stuff. So yeah, it's pretty much like my mom. I told her one time, I was like, "It's like I work 2 40-hour jobs, mom," and she's like, "Yeah, not really." I was like, "No, you like." And then she came up and stayed for a week with me, and she went and did some of the stuff that we were doing, and she was like, "It really is like you're working two jobs. Like, it's really like you're working two jobs. I can't
yeah.
believe you're doing this." I was like, "I told you."
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, I like doing this. I like doing the podcast thing, and I got two other podcasts on top of this one that I'm doing too. So it's
Yeah,
like, man, I'm constantly like either recording stuff, and but I love it. It's like, but like you said, it's like another job because with doing this, and then if I putting content up from it like clips, and then doing editing and doing blah blah blah. It's just yeah. I kind of
yeah,
cut out some things what I used to do. I used to sit down and write a bunch of questions, and then I was like, no, I want this to be more organic, more like we're just shooting the shit, having a conversation, and I crushed it up and went away with that and just free flow, freestyle it.
yeah. That's awesome. I thought
Uh,
you might actually have some questions, but that's cool that you're doing this free flow like that.
yeah, man. Like I
That
hear
takes
something.
a skill. It's a skill.
Yeah, I mean, I hear people talk like, oh man, you know how to talk to people and stuff. I'm like, I guess so. I mean, that should be the a good thing to hear because I'm doing this now. But I've done it. I think this is number 29, episode 29. So
Yeah. What are your other podcasts?
I have one called the Wrestling Circle Jerk podcast. It's a wrestling podcast, and
Yeah.
you could take the name and play with it however you want because it could mean it. But it's basically we watch Monday Night Raw and Friday SmackDown, and we get to at the end of the week we'll talk about it and blah blah blah, and then talk our predictions what we think is gonna happen the following week. Um, we've only been doing it for a month now. This Saturday is a WWE pay per view, and we're going to live stream that and do our reaction while we're watching it. So
Cool.
yeah, and then
Did you
go ahead.
did you watch the Tyson fight? That's
I didn't
everybody's answer.
I didn't realize they were do I didn't realize there was a bunch of fights, and at the end there was like a comedy show because
Yeah.
I
Like
mean it's I don't know, man. It's go
if you look
ahead.
at the training videos, it's like he could have
Yeah,
fought.
yeah, yeah,
He
and
could
now
like it could have been
yeah.
a fight. It was a check, I think. They were doing
Uh,
it for a check.
Bro, you're 58 years old. You have the opportunity to go 16 minutes. It was It was 8 2-minute rounds. You're in the ring for 16 minutes and you're gonna get 20 mil. You just
Yeah.
played America. You just played us all for. But hey, he's 58 years old and he got $28 million for a fight.
Hey, you can't don't hate the don't hate the player, hate the game, man.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, I get in the ring for $20 million. Let Mike Tyson hit me one time. I'd be like, I'm down. Count me out, boss. I'm done. Let me get that
Yeah.
check.
Yep.
Um, it is what it is. I mean, I get it. Tyson has a name. People, you know, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, they both have huge names. So anything that they have their name attached to, it's going to draw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess kind of like when you were a teenager, the Paul brothers were like a big thing on social media, like on YouTube, right? They're like huge YouTubers back then.
Yeah, they were big on YouTube when I was like, I guess I was in my early 20s, like
Okay.
18 to early 20s. Um, and I didn't ever watch any of their stuff really.
Nah.
I was watching like Critical and Donkey video game. I was watching
Oh
video
yeah.
game stuff. I didn't watch vlogs really.
Yeah.
But what do you think about you? So you've probably been a wrestling fan for a long time, right? I
Yeah.
don't know if you've got a podcast.
I've been a wrestling fan for over
Yeah.
40 years.
Oh man. So you've seen lots of stuff, like, and what do you think about Logan Paul coming into it all?
Um, I think it's good for business.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna look at it as a business point, come on, look at how many followers he has on YouTube, and
yeah,
how many how quick his clips go viral. And them to let him be him, doing the whole videoing during matches. Some people, the older generation, might not like that, but you got to move on with the times and evolve with the times. You can't stay left behind. So it's like I saw something the other day, and it was JR, the announcer that used to be there. Now he's with AEW. He was like, I don't understand why wrestlers are wearing jewelry in their matches. And um, somebody asked Triple H this a couple years ago. Why? What do you think? Or like if it was last year, what do you think about the talent wearing Jordans in the ring? He goes, I get it. It's culture. It's the shoe culture. Shoe culture is huge. They can connect with these younger generations through their sneakers. It might bring that more people into WWE,
yeah,
and he said, I can't hold them back, because if I hold them back, then we're all failing.
yeah,
So you got to move on with the times. I mean, you got to just keep evolving. And I think it's great. I can understand where the wrestlers are coming from. Like, oh, he's only here for a year and he got a title, you know, but
yeah,
I think it's good though, man. It's just now you got the other brand AEW out there, and they're bringing in social media people in too, because they see social media work for WWE. They're bringing in social media stars to come in. Somebody I never heard of called the Rizzler, some little kid and his
Oh
dad. Okay,
no.
you know him?
Yeah, I've been
Okay,
seeing the clips, man.
yeah. That's the yeah that
It's the
kid. That,
Costco family. They're the Costco family or whatever.
oh, is that what
And
they are?
yeah, they're like double chunk chocolate chip cookie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That's them. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. Well, they
It's
were on the AEW, man. And the dad wrestled,
oh my
and
gosh.
with a broken foot. I saw the highlights of this, and I was like, okay, but we'll see if people tuned in for that. But no, yeah, it's I just like doing the podcast. Once I started this, man, I got sucked in. I'm like, I like talking to people. I like meeting people. And then the wrestling one, I do it with two of my buddies, and then I do one with my friend where we just talk about like the 80s and 90s, growing up in the 80s, like things that we miss, or we'll just talk about things that recently that's happened, and we'll just talk. It's just two dudes, shooting the shit about yesterday, or yesteryear, if you want to call it,
Yeah.
and then at the end of our podcast, we always recommend a movie and an album. Like,
Cool.
yeah, it's pretty fun, man. Like we tape that on Tuesdays, and then we tape our wrestling one on Saturdays, and then I tape this one um, whenever somebody's cool to talk. Because I don't be like, the only days I don't do it is Mondays and Fridays. I'll do it any other days. But I normally leave it up to the guests whenever it's the best time for them and they're comfortable to do it. Because I don't,
Yeah.
I can give a window, but I'm like, you know what? Whenever it's best for you, that's when I want to do it, and I'm always open and available. So,
Yeah. So
um, Go
So
ahead.
you started this because you were kind of in the rock scene, right? There, the was it? Is it the metal scene? What would you call it?
Oh, I would just say we start. Okay, my band started back in 2004, and we were a hardcore band. Okay.
Okay, hardcore.
And yeah, and we put out a record, then we broke up. Well, then we didn't break up. Our members left. We got some new members, and then we went more kind of like a metalcore kind of direction, kind of more metal with with hardcore influences kind of mixed up. And then we did that for a few years, where that CD actually was seen in all the Hot Topics in Tennessee during 2008. It was like all over all the that's when this is when iTunes was like iTunes Japan, iTunes Korea, iTunes, all these different iTunes. We were on all of those. We were on all these different, like, you can find our there's a hardcore record store in Japan that was selling our record. We had stores in Germany selling our stuff. So that was cool. We were playing a lot back then.
That's awesome.
And then we put out our second album, or I'm sorry, our third album, which this song is from. And right after we released it, maybe 5 months later, we decided to just take a hiatus. I guess you could say. Um, I mean, we'll never get back together. It's been 7 years, but my buddies in
Yeah.
the guys are in a new band. But I started this podcast because I just wanted to start a podcast. I mean, yes, I'm going to say it. Everybody was doing a podcast. I'm like, well, I want to do a podcast.
Yeah, I
It
want
took
to do one too.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want to start one.
I bet you could. I mean, everyone could do it, man. And it's fun. Like I said, you could probably talk to, depending on what you want to do it about. You probably could talk to so many people out there in this world. Up and coming people, artists, or whatever. It took me from 2002 till now to finally get this started. I had a little substance problem, and it was taking over everything. And I couldn't get myself to ever get this going. So last year, I decided to go sober back in May of last year, and then I focused on the podcast. And
Okay,
I got the logos done, I got this done, got that done, and then March, I did my first episode, and I've been rock and rolling ever since.
that's awesome, man.
It's just
Congratulations on being sober, by the way.
yeah, man. I appreciate it. I gotta be, it's I feel better. I feel better. Um and I'm out of debt.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, not all out of
All
debt, but
good
you know what I'm
things.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nope. Is anybody ever really all out of it?
Hell
Some
no.
people. Some people.
Because if we're broke, we're in debt.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, I've been doing it, man. And I just, like I said, I just like talking to people, man. If I get 4 listeners on an episode, cool. If I get 150 listeners on an episode, hell yeah, that's cool too. But I'm just doing it for fun, man. I like talking to people, and then helping people, do whatever you want with the video. Maybe, people get to know about you too, learn about yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but so um currently, for the rest of the year, you taking a break? Are you got some sessions you got to go to? Are you?
I got a show in just next week, and then I got two shows next week. A writers round on the 4th, and I got a show on the 6th in Paris, Tennessee. And then after that, um, I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah,
It's the holiday. I'm gonna work the time I have to work, and then I'm gonna go home and be with my family. And then maybe I might write some songs. My dad, me and him write songs, so we'll probably write a song or two, maybe more. But yeah, for the rest of the year, I'm pretty much done.
let's see.
And back in January, we'll start it back up again.
Yeah, do you have So when you write your songs, you could be just sitting at a red light and you'll get an idea. Do you just sit there and you talk into your phone real quick, or do you write it down?
Yeah, I have a when I got a newer iPhone, and
Uh-huh.
like they got this button where it used to be where you turn the sound, but I put record on that, so
Oh,
I just
nice.
tap record and then I just record it real quick. So I get ideas all the time. I used to get them more when I first started than I do now, and I kind of have been at a dry spell here for a little bit on like coming up with ideas, and it's really it worries me sometimes, but then my friend was telling me about John Prine, who's one of my favorite writers, was like in the same position as I was. And then one day he got an idea popped in his head, and then he took off again and started writing a lot again. So I'm not as worried about it anymore. But I do, even if I don't have ideas, like with the co-writing, like when I come co-write a song, I come in with the idea that no matter what happens tonight, like we have to write something down. Like something it has to come up, even if we're like not feeling inspired. Like I think of it more as like it's a duty, a job, kind of like I have to get something done tonight. If nothing else, a verse, you know. So, and some people disagree with that, and I can see that. You know, if I'm not going to force myself to write a song by myself, but if somebody wants to co-write with me and they want to get a song done, then we're going to get a song done. That's just how I am.
Do you feel like writing with somebody else, it kind of helps you too with ideas because like they'll bring something up and then you'd be like, "Ooh, I got this idea." That's kind of basically how it works. Like you guys are bouncing ideas off each other and then it just comes together.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's how most co-writes for me go. It's like
Yeah.
we all bring ideas to the table, and then something sticks, and then we go with that and we write that. Sometimes you come to the co-write and nobody has any ideas, and then you just write a funny song, like, or you just you try your best and you write something you might not be happy with, then you're like, all right, well, let's kind of maybe restart that, or maybe go a different direction next time we get together and write. And then
Is it
sometimes, sometimes it doesn't, nothing happens and you don't write with that person again, not because you don't like each other, just like it just didn't work out. It's just you weren't seeing those eye to eye on things, and I
yeah.
don't know.
No vibe. You guys don't vibe or connect with each other. Because it's kind of like a relationship when you're there writing a song with somebody. You have to click first off, and
Yeah,
like you said, you have a few people that you do write with, and um, do you ever think about forming like a team? Like, all right, these four dudes, I know I can write the best stuff with. I just want to stick with these four dudes.
all the time I think about that. Like, there's a couple of things, like not just in the writing, but also like a collaborative house. Like those TikTok houses. Like there's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
called 615 house. There's
yep.
like Song House. There's a bunch of. I want to do something with like where I have a group of people that I write with, and like we write songs for each other. That's definitely something I want to do. But I also want to maybe create like a some kind of house like that, and have a bunch of different artists collaborating, making collaborative posts, and promoting each other with each other's fan bases. So yeah,
Is there a subject that you try to stay away from? Like it's like, oh, this subject's already been done too many times. Like, because country songs, everyone's always like, the joke about country music is like it's all about somebody's dog and their wife died and their truck.
yeah,
Is there anything
yeah.
like is there a topic that you're like, no, I cannot write about this?
I try not to. There's one topic, like right off the bat when you said that before you were talking about the cliches. It's just like I try not to do political songs that much. Like if I do it, it's like kind of undertone, maybe. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
really come out and say what I think. But then like I try to, like when we're writing, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Okay, like yeah, whiskey, beer, truck, women. Like, can we say it in a different way that somebody might not think of to say it? Like so many people have said whiskey. Like, what if we put gin in this song, or tequila, or like
Yeah.
something else, or maybe we don't even write about alcohol this time. Like,
Mhm.
there's so many songs about alcohol.
Oh yeah,
You
especially right
know,
now.
yeah. It's like I just try to be different. I try to like be authentic to myself at the same time though. So I do feel those songs like, about, you know, going too far, getting too drunk, or, about I used to have a truck. I like trucks, but I try to say it in a unique way, I don't want to just be like, beer truck dirt.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Luke. Um, it's Luke White on Instagram. He wrote this song making fun of that exact thing you're talking about. and it's like his girlfriend asks him, if you were stranded on an island, would I be one of the three things you're taking? And he's like, honey, you already know, beer, truck, dirt. And he's like, it's just he's making fun of that stereotype, but not particularly, just like politics, and then like try to be different, um, try to be say things in a unique way, which is something my co-writer Bear Lamb was really taught me, kind of like, and my dad as well. Like try to be different, like try not to say it, and my uncle as well. My uncle writes with me too. He's like, yeah, everybody says that's the first thing anybody would think of to say. Like, don't write that. Write something else. Write something better. Like, we can beat this line. That's what my uncle says a lot. We can beat this line. Think of something different.
uh, you know, you go and also probably you know try to make up some metaphors for other things too to make it like you know make you think like wait what's that mean and then you'd be like oh yeah like kind of like with the the we're talking about um being drunk but not drunk, you know what I'm saying, like using that word but not being alcohol drunk but being like you know drunk on love or drunk on this, you know, like you got to
Yeah.
use the words in a different way and then um what where like you yourself, like can you be driving down the road, you look over and you can be like you see a woman, you know, and you know at a stoplight and you're like you just think about I wonder what she's thinking and then you can could you write a song about something like that? Just like what, you know, like a woman sitting there on the at the pole, like what she's thinking about. And you
I
can
think
write a
I could. I think I
yeah,
could. I think I could. I put myself, I think I could put myself in most people's shoes. Maybe
uh-huh,
not everybody's, but I feel like I can definitely come up with stories. And like, that's what I think my type of songwriting is a storyteller. Even if I didn't experience the story that I'm telling, like, I'm reciting it from somebody else's point of view, and that's kind of what I kind of approach with any kind of song, is try to tell a story. But with the co-writing, sometimes they don't want to do that. They want to, they just want to write a party song, and that's
yeah.
fine too.
I mean, because I mean, they want to write that party song because it's if it takes off and it's over with. That song,
Yeah,
you know, once you get that summer hit, you know, that summer hit for 2025, you're good because then it'll be played all the time, you know, at all the parties and stuff. You
yeah.
know, I mean, look at what was that guy's name? The old Dirt Road song. I mean, that song,
Old Town Road, yeah.
yeah,
Lil
you know,
Nas X and Billy
yeah.
Ray.
Yeah, and that's kind of like you know, I just this might just me being an outsider looking in, but that's kind of when like it kind of changed a little bit with like the way country was going, like around that time,
Yeah,
you know. Um, I mean, you had obviously you had like Yellow Wolf, and you know he was doing rap, but he kind of went to country, kind of country rock stuff too around that same time, and um, but yeah, like Little Nas X come up, then you all of a sudden you see people just popping up, bloop 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 bloop, you know, it's like what?
yeah. He was kind of the first, like, kind of the first rapper to kind of like do a country thing recently, at least. I know, like, they did some stuff with Florida Georgia Line and I think Nelly
Oh
back
yeah, I
in the
forgot
day,
about
but
yeah,
nothing that really
yeah,
like shook off traction wise. Like, and Morgan Wallen's songs, I mean, a lot of them sound like rap songs, and I
yeah.
like those songs, but you know, there a lot of people are like, that's not real country, and I get tired of hearing that argument. I get the argument, and I get why
It's
people want to preserve it, an art form, but people thought Patsy Cline wasn't country, like, and now she's like as country as can be. So it's
yeah,
like, and then the '90s guys came in, and the '80s guys were like, these guys aren't real country. So it's
yeah,
like everybody, there's always going to be somebody saying this isn't real country, and
yeah.
one of these days will probably be indistinguishable, or country might just not cease to exist as a genre. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. You said that guys in like Garth Brooks, for instance, when he took over, man, he blew it up in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Like everybody knew who Garth Brooks was. He was the biggest thing since sliced bread. He was everywhere.
Yeah,
Everybody was listening to Garth Brooks. They were on all the radios. You know, there was no, it wasn't just country. It was rock radio, and he was on all the countdowns. You know, it was, and then so, yeah, you're right because the '90s country compared to the '80s country was way different, and then you look at country now compared to the '90s, it's like whoa, it's two different
yeah,
things, you know.
yeah.
Um, But I mean, to me, I like a good song's a good song. You know,
That's
I
what I
like,
think.
you know,
That's what I think too.
um, I was listening to that Chapel Roan chick, um,
Yeah.
and she's rocking, man. I like her, but I watched her Tiny Desk, and then after her
Oh, I
Tiny,
need to see that.
oh, it's good, man. And she has a whole thing. She had the head, everything. She was dolled
Wow.
up. Um, and after that was over, Taylor Swift's popped up, and it was like 7 or 8 years ago. And this was going back to looking at a girl and saying, can I write a song about her and then being in that body. She wrote a song called The Man or something, and it was her perspective of what would happen if her being herself still, but in a man's body doing things, and how she would get reacted to, and but she stripped them all down. She put them all acoustic. She said, "This is how I write my songs, is on acoustic guitar. So this is how y'all are going to hear it, is on acoustic guitar." And she rocks, man. I don't care. I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's
she, she
the biggest thing since the Beatles, I guess. I mean, like
oh,
she's
dude,
the biggest
she
thing. In,
sells out when you could sell out a damn near week in Mexico, or a week in, well, I think it was like 2 weeks. She did the O2 arena in England. I think every night was sold out, and
yeah,
she don't do small hours. She does like 3.5 hour shows. Like, I don't know how she does it, but I think that's why she breaks it up with how she does her. All right, we're gonna do these 3 songs from this album, and then we're gonna do
yeah,
take a break, But yeah, she's a talent, man. Definitely a talent. Um,
yeah.
s-
She's great.
do you have a dream person that you would like to write a song for?
Hmm. A lot of the people that I would say write all their own stuff,
Yeah.
but if I had to say one person to cut my song, I would have to say Cody Johnson probably would be on my top of my list. Luke Combs. Um, let me think here. Zach Top would be a cool one, but I think he writes a lot of his own stuff. Um,
I
but
guess
yeah,
it's better
there's a
that
lot of
way.
people.
It's better that way, right? To write your own shit, because one, you don't have to give any money to anybody else, because that's you wrote the song. So
True.
that's because, like, all right, so we're talking, we just mentioned to me about the collabing, when you write with collabos, okay? So say that song gets huge, okay? Like, if there's 8 people in this room, all 8 of you all get credited, and all 8 of you get a cut of the success of that song. So what if you were in that writing session and you came up with like 3 words? You're part of that team, and you part of that collaboration, and you're writer, right? With that song?
Yeah, yeah. If you're in
Wow.
the room,
Wow.
the saying is a word for a third. Like if you're in the room and you're writing it, the natural rule is that everybody gets equal parts of the song, no matter how much they contribute. And um, that's kind of the reason. Like there's the LA way to do it too, and that's like they kind of like split the percentages from what I've heard. I never wrote a song in LA, so I wouldn't say I'm for sure on this, but but they like split the percentages. The beat maker gets a percentage, the producer, like they all this stuff, and they get put on as writers of the song. And I think that's part of the reason, like these guys behind me, the Beatles.
Yep.
Oh, this way,
Yes.
like that's kind of why they broke. I've heard. I think I remember. Don't quote me, but I think that's part of the reason they were kind of getting in arguments about who wrote them the most of this or whatever. But maybe I'm thinking of a different band.
No, I think you're right. I think the money was a thing. I think, like, somebody got, I looked, actually, I looked this up recently. I get, maybe it's not about how much money, but it's what each Beatle is currently worth. And and Ringo wasn't making nearly anything compared to what Paul was making, or even what John's estate's making, or George Harrison. Ringo was making the less from it than compared to everybody. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
but
man,
I think maybe he didn't write as much of the
yeah,
songs as the others, but so
yeah,
like the safe thing, I think it's safer with the Nashville. Was what I was getting at is
yeah.
like if that way nobody gets mad about anything.
Gotcha.
But
What's the what? How many people do you try to stick with though when you do go like when you're in a writing session or is it just whoever's there just is
I
there?
think I haven't written with more than I don't think I've written with more than three people. I
Yeah.
think that's a good number. I'd be willing to try it like with more people. I've heard of people going in rooms with eight people, and I'm just like, how do you get anything done? Like I'd be too distracted catching up with
Yeah.
everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Like, like you get three people in a room. We talk for about 30, 45 minutes before we even start writing down anything. We like strumming on the guitar. What'd you do this week? Oh yeah, yeah, no. I went to whiskey jam. Oh, cool. What else? How's your wife?
Yeah.
How's your dog? And then we write a song. So I couldn't imagine with eight people, but I mean, I'd love to try it. I'd love
Yeah.
to try that. I think I could do it. I mean, but yeah, three's the number. I might have done four once. I just can't remember. But yeah, I think three's the magic number. Just like
Uh,
the
yeah.
schoolhouse rock song.
Yeah, the magic number. Um, so you've been mentioning John Prime, and I know John Prime. I'm familiar with his music. I used to work at this restaurant, and the kitchen manager there was all about John Prime. And so he burned me a CD once, and I got it, and I had it on my computer. It was just like a bunch of random stuff, downloading MP3s, burning the CD, handed to me, and so really good stuff. I have a friend now who lives in Portland, Oregon, and he loves John. He loves him to death. Like he got introduced from the same person at the kitchen. But he just like he can't go a day without having Prime play. Have you did he passed away, right? Or no? Did he just
Yeah, he passed away during COVID, I believe.
okay. Now did you ever get to see him perform?
Unfortunately, I didn't. No.
Man,
Yeah,
that would have been pretty
it would have
cool.
been fun. It would have been awesome. My dad got to see him, but
Nice, nice.
yeah, the reason he's so he's kind of an important part of my inspirations is like he kind of wrote stuff that nobody would write, and then like kind of and made a living doing it, and he's all about staying independent. There's like he's quoted like saying that there was a mural on Grimey's, the record store in
Uh-huh.
East Nashville, of him, and it said "Stay independent," and I think like that's something I'm like I'm in that boat too. Like, stay independent, build it up as much as you can, and then like Jelly Roll, like you mentioned earlier, he was independent. He stayed independent for a long time, and then he came to the record labels, and he was like, "Look what I've done without you," like, and he was able to negotiate a better deal. So I think
Yeah.
that's like the best way, especially nowadays. Like you said, it's so easy to just do everything yourself. Like, it's easy, but it's also like it comes with its own challenges. But like
Oh yeah, because there comes to a
it's just
part
way more accessible.
and it comes to a part too when you start getting and if you start doing it by yourself and you start getting bigger. Well, then you do need to have some other people in there. Cause it's like
Yeah,
try booking a tour by yourself. That's
yeah,
a pain in the ass. Um, but it's like we just said Jelly Roll. It's like that man came from nothing, and then he was doing his hip hop game, and then one day he was like, I forgot who he said he was talking to, and they were like, "Man, just write whatever you want, like just write your own." And then he came up with his first single, and it blew up, and then he was like, "Oh, okay." And then,
yeah, yeah,
and he's truck. I think it was last year he sold out Bridgestone. And then the year before the beginning of the year he couldn't even sell out a club. At the end of the year he sold out Bridgestone because of one single. And but the
yeah,
man is I'm a huge fan. I've always have been a fan, no matter whether it's his hip hop or I love what he's doing now with his country stuff. I actually purchased this last record. And it's a very touching album. A lot of teary up songs, man. A lot of stuff kind of hits home. And that's one thing I respect about him. Like he's writing what he's been through. He's writing
yeah,
his thing. And he still tells you, I still have a bunch of demons in my body. I still got them demons here, but I gotta fight them, and this is what's helping me do that is living. And you think being on the road all the time like that some of them demons might come back, but he said no. So I mean, he's doing his
yeah,
thing. I respect the man, man. Like all the money he gives back he gives money back to everybody. He don't even care. He's like, oh, here you go. That's
yeah.
cool.
He's awesome. He's he's really built something crazy. Like he's one of those, like he's probably the most successful of any of those people that has came over as bad.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Post Malone, but like Post Malone was already way bigger. You know, it's a different story. You know,
Yeah.
Jelly Roll was all independent and then blew up, and so I think his success story is the coolest. And I
Oh,
hope he gets pardoned. I hope
yeah.
he gets pardoned
Did you see
so I
that
can get a house.
Yeah, yeah. He could. What do you say? I wanted to get this house. I saw my dream home, but it was in a golf gated community with attached to a golf course, and they wouldn't let me in because of my past. And I'm like, I got the money right here to pay for this. Like I'm everywhere
He's
right now.
Jelly Roll.
He's Jelly Roll. He's the king of Nashville. Like Snoop Dogg's the king of L.A. Jelly Roll's the king
Yeah.
of Nashville. Well, last night Jelly Roll was in Nashville. Obviously, he lives here, but last night was the last day of the tour. Snoop Dogg comes out on stage with him last night.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's
Snoop
I gotta
Dogg,
see. I gotta look at more clips of that.
yeah, Snoop Dogg, Yellow Wolf, uh, JT Tux or JR Tux. I can't remember his name right now.
What?
But what's the guy's name? He's a uh, JT Lux. You know that name?
No, I don't know that one, but
It's JT and then space Lux. He's a I don't know how to describe his music. Had some folky stuff, but it's kind of rock and roll too. He just got signed to Yellow Wolf's label earlier this year, and he's doing big things right now in that area. Whatever style he's doing, but he's everywhere. Um, have you have you heard of Low Life Productions? It's a camera company, a photographer in
well,
Nashville.
I saw that you had interviewed him
Yeah,
on there, but that's the only time I've heard of him. But
good guy, really good dude. He does everything, man. Photography and he does videos and stuff too, man. Really good guy. He's just like you, man. Just start doing his own thing by himself. He started at just taking camera shots, pictures at a local show, and
yeah,
then now he's doing Bush and doing MGK and Avril Lavigne and he did
wow,
yeah what's that guy's name something Marcus King? No, not Marcus King. It wasn't him. It was I can see the guy's name. Anyway, he did a photo session at the Ryman with him. It was pretty cool. So,
really?
yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to meet him sometime. That'd be
yeah.
cool.
I think you guys would get along pretty well. Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. I've known him. He's done a lot of pictures of me over the years in my bass playing days and then my singing days in my other band. I used to sing in a band called Guerrilla Warfare. Um,
Okay,
and
that's a cool name. That's a cool
yeah,
name.
and it's spelled like the animal, not like the war, because
Oh, sick.
the guy that started the band, he was uh, in the desert over in Afghanistan back in 2000, and he was like guerrilla warfare, and he always kept that name. And then when he got out of the army, he started guerrilla warfare, and it started out like a old school like 1980s kind of punk, like a punk hardcore band, just real simple, just simple beats, just real. And then they started getting more into metal, and then I left the band for a while to focus on Taken Under, and then Taken Under split up. That's the name of my band. We're called Taken Under.
Taken under.
Yeah, and then we left. We split up. We're hiatus, whatever. And Guerrilla Warfare needed a bass player for the time being. I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then I did that for about 4 years, and then I got sober. And before I got sober, I quit music altogether so I can not be in that environment for a little while and see how that works.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's yeah.
It's definitely like that's the. If there's one thing I would say that I dislike about all this is how much that they like that musicians like to do substances, man.
Mhm.
It's kind of scary. It's
Yeah, and it's not even just weed. It's not even just weed anymore or alcohol. It's a lot
no,
of stuff out there. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I'm cool with the weed and the beers and all that stuff. Whoever does that, but man, that's all you guys really need out there. You don't need anything more than
no,
that.
no,
But some people get that money in there, and it's not even that. And this is just my opinion. Um, you got that money and you've never seen it or you haven't been around it, and you're able to get access to this. And one person was like, "Hey, man, try this," and you try it, and then you're like, "Man, let me get some more of that." And then they keep
yeah,
going, and yeah, a lot of musicians over the years, man, have died by the drug, man. And
yeah.
it's
I don't even know where to start naming them. You know, the
yeah,
27 Club is a
yeah.
good
There you
place to
go.
start.
You know,
and
MGK,
Waylon.
Waylon. Did he
It
OD or
was
did
it was
he?
alcohol. I think it was
Okay,
partly the alcohol and the diabetes kind of combined.
Waylon's a cool cat, man. He has one of the most iconic not the only one, but what's one of the iconic country logos. That W.
Yeah,
That W is just
my
iconic,
friend
you know?
my friend got it tatted on his chest.
Really?
I was like, dang, you really like Waylon, dude. I was like, dang.
uh,
But I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool.
yeah, his grandson or whatever. Yeah, I guess his grandson, Struggle Jennings. Him and Jelly Roll have a mixtape. They do. I think they have four of them now, and they're called Waylon and Willie.
Yeah, I've
And
listened to them.
yeah,
I
they're
used to
good.
listen to those in high
Yeah,
school a lot.
yeah,
I
they're
need to go
good.
back and listen to the new ones.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Are we gonna get a fifth one? Are we gonna get a fifth one?" Like, come on,
Ooh,
man. Now, they're on each other's records, like Waylon's on, Jelly's record, and Jelly's on Waylon or on Struggles and Jelly Roll or Yellow Wolf. Like those three dudes are always on each other's albums, and which I think it's really cool that they even no matter how big those guys get, they're still loyal to each other. They're still
yeah,
boys. They're still bros. Even though
important.
Jelly Roll's bigger than even though he's way bigger now than Struggle Jennings or Yellow Wolf, they're not trying to get him to help them push them forward. They're still doing it on their own terms.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool, man.
there's
W-
nothing more important than like two, like a group of three or four dudes that can all trust each other. Like that's an important thing to have. One, like good
yeah.
friends is really important. And
Especially in the music business, it's sad to say there's a lot of snakes out there, man. A lot of snakes out there, and it's like I'm sure it's hard too. Like, yeah, you might meet some people, but it's kind of hard to like take them in as you gotta wait a little bit, test the waters before you bring them in and fully trust them 100%. Because it's a game out there where people try to. I'm sure people try to take people for things.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely that. I mean, I've already experienced things like that. Just
that
people trying
sucks.
to get you to sign deals, and you look at it, and it's like, no.
Yeah,
It's like
you
you
know.
gotta, yeah. It's just crazy, and then people try to lie about you or lie to you. It's just there's a lot of snakes out there. It's and for the most part, Nashville, everybody's there to help each other, and um, it's a really good place to be. But there, just like anywhere, there's snakes out there.
Yeah, I like how I see how Nashville has grown from so many rocker dudes are living in Nashville now. You got a lot of the guys from like the 80s and 90s that are living in Nashville. Like Vince Neil from Motley Crue, he lives in Nashville, and there's so many more, but that's the only one I can think of right now. But there's so many. Dave Mustaine from Megadeth lives in
Yeah,
Nashville, and he moved to Nashville only because his daughter was wanting to do a career in music. So he moved to Nashville so she could have opportunities out here.
yeah,
And he stays. But yeah, it's cool though to see the melting pot of what Nashville people, you got the rock world out here now, and you got people moving here, not even moving here, just coming to Nashville to record now. And it's all styles
hmm
of music. I wonder if that's because LA is just not as many studios out there these days.
yeah. I think that's a big part of it. I think LA is kind of a more has more snakes in the grass too. I would say
Yeah. Oh,
than
yeah.
Nashville, and I think Nashville's kind of it was always been called Music City, but it was usually just country music city. But I think it is Music City now. I think it is. I think it is the place to be if you want to do any kind of music.
Yeah. I have a friend who is in the business. He worked on the first four weekend records. The last one he worked on was Starboy, and he got a Grammy for it.
It's my favorite
And
pop record.
dude, I got to see that tour in Nashville, and it was 7 years ago, and it was phenomenal. That dude is amazing. That dude, but it still upsets me. He opened the whole show up with Starboy. He opened up with that, and I was like, "Man,
Yeah,
that's a banger. You should have either played in the middle or at the
yeah,
end." But he sucked you in right then and there, and you were done. You're ready to go. It was good stuff, man.
That came out in 18, didn't it? You said
Um, I thought did it come out in 19?
18. I think it's 2018. I think I was wrong. I think it was 20. Maybe my Bonnaroo. I was thinking about my Bonnaroo. I don't know. I was like, was it 16? I can't remember now.
Oh, I actually think Starboy came out in 17, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Let me just check. I mean, I'm a Googler.
Mm,
Starboy. Let's see real quick. It says here 2016 it came out. So you're right.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So
I
you
was like,
were.
I was trying to figure out if I was right about my date. I just wanted to correct it if I was wrong.
Yeah, because the only reason why I know it was 7 years ago before that was because I went to California to go to my sister's wedding, and the next day when I flew back into Nashville, I was getting to see the weekend. Um,
That's
but
awesome. Mm,
my buddy he hooked me up with good tickets. By good I mean one from the front, so I was right in front.
wow.
Yeah, like basically, if he would have put his hand out, I could have been like high five. Um, but and I got better seats than my buddy who lives in L.A. got at the Staples
That's
Center,
awesome.
But now he works for an artist named James Blake. You ever hear of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he works for James Blake now. He does all his production work and production and
Is
set.
James Blake the guy who wrote that song that the American Idol Hawaiian dude sang that won him, that won American
Oh,
Idol?
I know what you're talking about. Oh, um, I think you are correct. I think you are correct. Or wait, or
That's
that James Blunt.
it's
There's
James
James.
Blunt. It's
Yeah,
James
James
Blunt.
Blunt. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second, it's Blake and Blunt. They always make me mess up, and
Yeah.
I always make fun of my friend. I'm like, you didn't go work for James Blunt? You went with James Blake, but no, he's with James Blake, working with him, um, doing good stuff with him, and he worked with Kanye. He worked with
Wow.
uh,
That's
one of
awesome.
yeah, but he's a humble dude, man. He went to MTSU, graduated MTSU, and moved out to Cali, man. Then, he started at the bottom. You had to work as a runner, and then and then he got to work with some guy named Rick Rubin. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy before. I think he's new. He's
Never
only
heard of him.
nah, yeah, yeah. He was on the he helped record Death Magnetic by Metallica. Um he was like on their DVD. He's a cool cat, man. Very cool, but he's a very chill, humble dude. He doesn't care what he does. He's still one of the boys, which I like. That's
Yeah.
what I like about him. Um what was the last concert you went to?
Last concert, Tyler. I went to see Tyler Childers at Bridgestone.
Oh, nice.
A
Well, that's
friend of
sold out,
my.
right?
Oh, yeah. I think it was. I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, it had a few seats left because I was sitting. I somebody bought me a ticket, so, and I was up at the very top. And Tyler Childers is like like one of my heroes.
Okay.
And so I was like up there at the top, and the people sitting next to me were like being weird, and I was like, let's just see if there's another ticket. So I looked on Ticketmaster. I was like, all right, we're going closer, closer. So I got up closer, and it
Wait,
was
wait, 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 wait.
amazing.
You were in the shit seats. And you got on your phone and bought another ticket so you can get closer. That's
Yep,
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's how much I wanted to see him. I mean, I've been wanting to see him for a long time, and I was worried that he wasn't going to play. Like people have been complaining that he doesn't play his old hits anymore, like White House Road and some of the stuff that since he got sober, he didn't. He said he wasn't playing, but he played the ones that everybody's saying he didn't. And I was like, whoa, cool. I like those songs. I
Yeah.
respect that he didn't want to play them anymore, though.
I mean, so your biggest hit, just say this, your biggest hit is a song that everybody it knows, it's huge. It's a party favorite at parties, da, 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 da. But your lifestyle changes. You become either, sober or or religious now, and then you don't play that song anymore. To the fans, do you feel like the fans are robbed, or the fans should respect that decision of their other friend, their artist?
I think the fans should respect that.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't think personally, if something, I don't think I'd have to go through it, I guess. But
yeah,
I
I get
think
it.
I think I would still play it.
Yeah, I mean,
But I also think that if he doesn't want to play it, then he doesn't want to play it. He doesn't have to, he doesn't have to do something he doesn't want to.
yeah, oh yeah, he's a grown man, but or a
It
grown woman,
reminds
depending on
me of
whoever.
that.
Yeah,
It reminds me of that one song. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. That song.
Ah, ah,
She wrote that song because she was complaining about everybody doing this. It's the exact thing that we're talking about.
uh,
And then that became that song for her. I forgot who wrote it, but
well, that's kind of like, Vanilla Ice with Ice Ice Baby. That song has made him a millionaire, and he hated that song throughout the 90s after his career was over with. And then he tried to do the rap metal version of Ice Ice Baby. He was called Cold as Ice or Too Cold or something like that. It was something
yeah,
crazy. And I have it actually. And it was just like it sounded like Limp Bizkit meets Corn. Like it was kind of like that. And but now he's doing these back to the 80s tours, and he's doing the Ice Ice Baby and doing all this, and he's making but because he's probably realized, you know what, at the end of the day, this is who I am. I have to accept it. And he does. But I'm sure I mean, think about this, the Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne.
yeah, yeah.
She
Skater boy, say see
she
you later, boy.
Yeah, she was like probably 15 or something maybe when she wrote that. She probably was a little older, but now she's like in her late 30s and she's still singing those songs, but change it up a little bit. They sing they sing it differently, kind of like Christina Aguilera with Genie in a Bottle. I just seen recently. When Genie in a Bottle came out, it was all pop, 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 and now she's changed it up. It's all like she's singing it it's not even the same song anymore. It's
Yeah,
just, it's good. I like that. I
Tyler.
like when songs when artists can reinvent those songs and change them and make them still the same but different.
Yeah, Tyler
You
did
know?
that thing, that same thing. He like in the back in the day, he was playing in arenas with just an acoustic guitar, and then this was like a full-on rock show. It was crazy. It was like
Yeah.
lights and there's visuals. It was super cool.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of like Ed Sheeran. That man is a one man with a guitar and a loops pedal, and that's all he needs. And
I bet I bet he makes more money than anybody on tour. It's just
who
him and a loop pedal.
yeah,
You
oh, I
gotta pay a
gotta
band.
no, you gotta go buy a new loop pedal like maybe halfway through tour. But he doesn't have to pay for those because I'm sure he's sponsored, so he probably has like 15 of them in the truck.
Yeah,
But
he's
yeah,
he was one of my big. I liked him a lot when he put that first two albums he had.
uh-huh.
I really liked him a lot.
Um, a buddy of mine, my buddy Cody, he wrote with Ed Sheeran before Ed Sheeran became big. When he was living in Nashville for a little bit, he wrote a couple songs with Ed Sheeran, and one of the songs it was made Ed Sheeran's first album. Um, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then he had told me about this Ed Sheeran character, and then like a year later, Ed Sheeran was like everywhere, and he's
Oh,
still he's still everywhere, which is cool. I love the guy. I think his music's a great. Um, I just watched a performance of him singing with the Offspring, the band Offspring. It was like his first punk band. He has a tattoo of the Offspring on his side,
oh, that's
and
awesome.
he played Bottle Rock in California with the Offspring. He played a song with them. I was like, wow, you get Offspring and Ed Sheeran collabing.
So
But
with your you were in a hardcore band. Like,
mhm.
what is your inspiration like? What were you listening to through your life? Like
All right,
everything still?
bro. All right, I'm gonna tell you exactly how a quick story. I was a kid. My first cassette tape was Weird Al Yankovic. Okay, the just
Awesome.
okay. Um, And then around the same, well, maybe no, maybe not. Maybe I think it was either that or Thriller by Michael Jackson. One of those two were my first record. So I was listening to Thriller and I was listening to Run DMC and stuff and Prince. I'm a huge Prince fan. That's my favorite artist of all time is Prince. Um
He's
and
good. Really
oh
good.
yeah, I guess some people say he's good at
Personality.
guitar.
He is really good at guitar.
Dude, his personality, and he doesn't even have to try to be funny. He just sits there and doesn't even have to smile, just says something, and you're like, genius. um, it you've seen the performance, I'm sure, at the Super Bowl when it was raining, and they told him, "Hey, man, it's raining. We might have to." He's like, "No, make it rain harder." He's like, and he's out there on this. He's on this stage that's whatever kind of material in high heels, and he's not even slipping around. He's still out there just dancing this thing. It's Prince, man. He's
He's crazy.
all his music is he's all over the place with music. Think about that. Think about his style of music. He has a blues record, a jazz record, a rock record, a R&B record. One of his albums is kind of hip hoppy. Like he does it all. That guy's a
Yeah, yeah.
master. But no, listen to him and and then I was listening to like some early hip hop like LL Cool J. And then I moved to Germany because I was an army brat. And I was living in California at the time, and we moved to Germany, and I get introduced to Metallica and Iron Maiden. And I was like, "Oh, this is horrible. This is garbage. What is this crap?" It was and
Oh.
this was like 1988. And I was like, "Oh, this is horrible." And my mom's friend's son brought him over, and they're leaving the house. He's like, "All right, let me get my records." I'm like, "No, no, no, leave those." So he left, and I'm sitting there like, put the record on, and I'm like, "Okay," and then turn it over, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." I'm sucked in. I'm sucked into Metallica and Iron Maiden. The next day, I go to work because I was like a bagger for bagging groceries. I took all that money I made and just started digging for different heavy stuff like Motley Crue and Skid Row and those kind of bands. I'm a huge '80s hair metal dude now more than anything. But then so like I listened to that kind of stuff but also at that time I was getting introduced to like the Misfits and punk rock. And so I'm getting introduced to metal, punk rock, all at the same time, on top of listening to hip hop still. So
Yeah.
I'm getting introduced to all this stuff. And I've always been all over the place with music, but it's kind of like what I'm doing at the moment. So when I was skating all the time, I was kind of listening to more of like the Offspring and Green Day and that kind of punk rock. And then transferred over. I was listening to, of course, the Smashing Pumpkins and Green, and then Hole and No Doubt and Nirvana and all that kind of stuff. And then when I started playing hardcore, that's all I was listening to was just hardcore bands.
What made you settle on hardcore? I know why I
Uh,
settled on country, but
well, and this is funny. As a kid, everybody wants to be a musician or play an instrument or do something, right? So I was probably in ninth grade. No, it was 10th grade. I just moved from Germany back to the States. And I wanted a bass because I saw Nikki Six. I'm like, oh, Nikki Six is so cool because he looked cool playing the bass. And then Gene Simmons, like, bass. I was like, I want a bass. So my mom, we didn't know anything. So she bought me my bass from J.C. Penney's. It was like in the catalog, and she bought me this J.C. Penney one. And the tuning fork popped, and we took it to go get repaired. And the guy was like, "Ma'am, take this back to J.C. Penney's. It's gonna cost me more to fix this than it is what this is worth. Just take this back to J.C. Penney's. Let's get him a real bass." Um, but I didn't want a bass after that. I was like, I don't want a bass anymore. I want a guitar. So then I get this fucking neon blue Ibanez. I didn't know how to play it. I didn't have an amp. I would stick it against the wall and use the wall as the amp, so the vibration of the wall would make a sound.
that's
That's what I did.
awesome.
And that was that. I moved to Tennessee, never played music. I just focused on skateboarding, blah blah blah. Well, I got hooked up with these dudes that were in a band, and their bass player had left, and I was hanging out with them. I was making their merch designs. I was quote unquote their manager. I was booking the shows and helping out with their merch at the table and taking the money at the show and all that stuff, right? Well, one day they were like, we're getting rid of the bass player, but we need a bass player. Would you want to play bass?" And I was like, "I don't even know how to play bass. Like, how can I play?" They're like, "Well, we'll teach you." I'm like, "All right." So they teach me just the basic rhythm of a bass. Just they're
Yeah.
like, and I was like, "All right, cool, I got this." So for a month, I'm sitting there playing with these guys. And they were in like this was their band, with their hardcore band. And they were like, "All right, we got a show in 3 weeks. Do you want to do it or you want to cancel it?" Before even 100% being comfortable with these songs, I go, "No, we don't cancel shows." And
Yes.
they're like, "Okay, we're gonna play." So we practiced as a band finally, and we're on our way to the show. And I'm like, and we're playing in Cadiz, Kentucky. We're playing in Cadiz because I used to have a,
Oh,
a
sweet.
fest there called Backwoods Metal Fest, and
You
it
ever had
went on,
ferals?
huh?
You ever had ferals over there?
Bro, we can go on for that. That place is phenomenal. It's
Yeah, yeah. Keep going, keep going.
yeah, yeah. Damn, you're making my I could taste some right now. Anyway, so um we stop at one of the exits. It's like the last gas station before the exit. I was like, stop at the gas station. I run in. I bought two tall boys. And I was nervous. I was getting nervous. I was like, ugh. I drink the first one on the way there. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. I get out. All right, good. Put the stuff up on stage. Nope. I was like, oh man. I walked out. Had to go get drink my other beer, and then I was like, all right, I'm good. Had to get the liquid courage in me. So they're like, all right, guys, 5 minutes. Make sure I'm tuned. I'm nervous, man. Once that first note hit, boom, I was like, it was over with. I was done. I became the biggest stage whore. I was like, look at me, look at me. I was like, and it went down. It was after that, it was just, I loved it. Still can't
That's
play.
awesome.
I still can't
That's
play bass, but you know.
oh, come on. I still
But
can't write songs.
yeah, all right. You win. All right. I can't play bass. But yeah, um, yeah, like I said, I did that for like 17 years and never thought I would do that. We toured a lot around this area, played a lot of shows. I think 2008, 2009 were our busiest years. I think, and and this is just local guys. This is us booking our own stuff. I think in 2008, I think I counted 106 shows we played.
Dang,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
a lot.
And we would play in the area, so we would play like Louisville, Memphis, in those areas. So we would play there and still come back to Clarksville and work, and then drive to Nashville for a show, come back home, work, and then go back to St. Louis. We would just always, we never stayed anywhere, so we're always
What
driving.
what kind of venues were y'all playing? Like,
Um, I mean, they were just like small, like clubs, Sometimes it'd be like a dive bar or a
yeah.
bar. There's a place in Nashville called the Muse. We used to play there all the time. It's now a Domino's Pizza by the by Larry Flint's porn store. Off off of second. Um, we played
You
this
ever
one.
play?
Go ahead.
Oh, did you ever play over at Vanderbilt? There's like this place over where you know where San Antonio Taco is.
Okay, was it the pizza place?
Yeah, it was like a basement. You went in there.
Guido's.
Guido's. Yeah, I think that's
It
right.
you can only fit. It feel like once the band's in there, you're like, all right, now where's everybody else going to be fitting it? Yeah, I played
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That place, I never played there, but I've seen several crazy shows there, and yeah, that's a cool venue, man. Is it even there anymore?
No, it's a hot chicken place now.
Just like we need more chicken places in this world. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I like some good chicken though.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. Me too.
no, man, I love playing music, man. I do have a project that I'm gonna start here eventually. It's just be like it's like a cover. It's gonna start out as a punk cover band, just doing covers of old punk songs from like the 80s and 90s. Just with some friends, just to have fun. Because one of my buddies is in a band called Nero Vatra, which is kind of like stoner rock, kind of like Sleep and Macedon and kind of those kind of Queens of the Stone Age, kind of like that kind of
Okay.
style. Yeah. And they're doing really well. It's the singer from Taken Under and the drummer from Taken Under. Um, and man, I every time I watch them play, it brings a little tear to my eye because I wish I was up there playing with them. But
Yeah.
it's really good music. I really enjoy it. And then I got a buddy of mine who I go to my concert buddy. He'll play bass, and the singer from Taken Under will play guitar. Just a drummer. You got to find a drummer. The most hardest
Oh my
person to ever
gosh.
find, man. You might as well. That's why I do have a heavy project that I want to do as well, but it's basically going to get released. No one's going to know who's in the band except for the people in the band, just to see how it reacts. People react to it because people will not give a song a chance or a band a chance if they know who's in the band. Sometimes they're like, oh, I didn't like his stuff. So if you don't know who's in it, you can just give it a fair shot.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, at least. Um, but in Nashville, you, for instance, where have you played in Nashville? What venues?
I played the Live Oak, the local. I played Bobby's Idle Hour. I played Spring Water.
Oh, nice. I haven't
Yeah,
played there. But I've been there several times.
the place is never gonna go away, dude. That's place is
Hey,
gonna be there for
hey,
life.
it's last. It went through Prohibition, the old mobsters used to hang out there back. It's the oldest bar in Tennessee, right? I think it's the
Yeah,
oldest.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I went through every crisis you could think of. 2008, COVID, everything.
Let me ask you that. What did you do during COVID? Like how did that impact you as an artist?
Well, that's where I learned how to play guitar. I mean, that's pretty
Oh, so
much
you
where.
didn't know how to play guitar before this?
Not really. I mean, I
Okay.
knew how to play some chords, but I really didn't know. And I mean, I still didn't really know until about 2 years ago, 22. Like I was playing on stage as like a songwriter in rounds, and I was like, you go back and listen. I go back and listen to those things now. I was like, what was I doing up there, dude? What was I doing? Now I can listen to something. I'm like, all right, I do pretty good. All right,
Um,
sounds nice.
so with playing guitar now, and I don't know if we covered this part of that of the 32, um, more like 32. Um, when you gave it to that guy to write did he write the music, or did you have an idea on what you gave him an idea of, like, from an artist, like, I want it to be kind of like this or whatever. Like, did you have an idea of how the song should flow to give to him, or did he write that
So
flow?
I basically just gave him a work tape. So
Okay.
me and an acoustic guitar, how I would play it at a round.
Okay.
And he took that, found the tempo, and then we came up with ideas together, kind of. And then we did a pre-production day, and that's pretty much what that was. And then, excuse me,
You're
we
good.
went, and then went in another day, and then a full band show. Like his players, he got all the players together. He knew who was going to be good to play on this song and who he wanted. And then they got in and did a whole live band session on it.
Oh,
And
nice,
then I
nice.
came back in later and did the vocals.
So were you there when they were writing when they were recording the music?
So like, yeah, I was there when they were recording the music, watched them, and yeah, I had input on like if something didn't sound good, and I was like, please, just for me, just put a mandolin on this part and let's see what happens. We didn't end up using it, but
Oh,
I was still really trying to push that bluegrass thing.
yeah.
But we had like a keys player. He was playing the B3 organ on his keys, like the setting for the B3,
Okay.
and then the producer played guitar himself. We had another guitar player named Soul Phil Cox Littlefield, and then the keys player was I believe it was Jimmy Wallace, and then Miles McPherson on the drums, and then bass player was Lewis. I can't say. I would butcher his last name. His name is Lewis. You can find it on my Instagram. All their
Okay. All right.
Instagrams in my last post. Espelate or something like that. I can't say it exactly.
I'll check it
Um,
out.
but yeah, they just did a live session, and I put my input in on it. But they pretty much like they do it. That's like they're all those guys full time jobs. They've all been touring musicians or sessions musicians like they did on that day, and they pretty much they hear a song on the acoustic guitar, they know what to play, kind of, and you kind of just let them do their thing. Eventually, I think that's what I'm going to do for these songs, like all these songs I'm talking about, these 14. But eventually, on one day, my dream is to like kind of be like Sturgill Simpson and be able to just like produce it myself eventually one day. And but like be able to like have people play like stuff and really have a big say in how everything's done.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm trusting the producer, kind of.
Well, I mean, that's what he gets paid for, right?
Yeah, that's what my co-writer says it all the time. She's like, you have all these ideas about what your song should sound like. Just write the song, show the producer. That's his job is to like just take it and make it a real song, like a fully produced song.
That's something I want to do. I want to get one of my friends' local bands, and I want to produce one of the, I want to produce a song. I think I'm good with that kind of stuff in my head, because I hear so much different stuff, and it's crazy. Like, I'll hear a song and I'm like, oh, this could have been good. This part right here would have been really good. Like if they would have added this in this part, but that's a goal of mine, is to try to do it. If I can do it, cool. If not, I guess I'll learn from that mistake. But
Yeah,
Um, but that's cool though too, to work with people, like when that band, like, to because they have to be they got to be able to take criticism. Like they're like, oh, I don't like that. I want to do like this, but I mean, I'm sure they do hear that all the time. But that's pretty cool though, man. you mentioned the mandolin. I think that's one of the sexiest instruments, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a friend of mine, she got a mandolin tattooed right here on her arm for her dad. He used to have picking parties at their house all the time. And before he passed, I've always wanted to go to a picking party. Um, because I just they just look so fun, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody judges anybody. You're just there to have a good time. Some people are drinking beers and whiskey and just doing their thing, having a good time, like a big jam session, basically.
Well, you ought to come during the summer. You ought to come to Franklin and go to Kimbro's
Okay.
on Tuesday night. They have an open mic, and then on the front porch and in the back rooms, there's people just picking and playing covers and just having a good old time.
Oh yeah. Do
So
you
yeah,
have you tried to play the mandolin?
I have one in my actually in my living room right now.
Yeah.
I've tried to play it, but I can just like I'm basically just doing the same thing I am on guitar, playing the chords. I'm not doing all the fancy like
Yeah.
you know. I need to learn something like that. But
That's
yeah, I'll play a little bit of it. Play a
that's
little bit of
cool.
mandolin.
I uh I have a
I'm
harmonica. I have a harmonica and I don't even know how to play it. I don't know which end to suck in and which end to blow in or what do I do? I've just seen the people back in the day they're just like they're doing all this and blowing and they're like I'm like, man,
yeah,
it looks
yeah,
so easy. Like John Popper from Blues Travelers, that dude, he made playing a harmonica fucking sexy, man. Like girls were like, because this guy has a battle vest on with all these fucking harmonicas. Oh, like, man, that dude, I got
I'm
to
not.
see I got to see that man perform. He was awesome. Fucking. What's one of your
Oh,
most
sorry.
memorable? What's one of your most memorable concerts you ever been to?
Hmm. No concert. I would say like probably my either my first concert with Lucinda Williams because I just like remember that was the first place I ever went. I went to the Ramen.
Wait, you said you saw
Crazy.
Lucinda Williams?
Yeah, at the Ramen
I'm jealous, dude.
when I was like when I was really young, and
Yeah,
I was like one of my earlier memories actually. I
yeah,
can just
that's awesome.
remember her up there. She was also Gravel Road song, Wheels on a Gravel Road. What is it?
Um,
Oh,
the
I love that album, the whole album.
yeah, yeah, I'm pretty jealous because in the '90s she was covered a lot in the '90s by bands and stuff, but her voice is so beautiful, man. Great stuff.
She's really
Um,
good. And then I went to see Disturbed when I was in middle school, and I was
yeah.
like, that was pretty memorable because it was just like the heaviest thing I ever seen. Seven Dust open for them,
Oh, nice.
and Disturbed, and I think it was one. I think Korn played too, yeah. And I was just like, whoa, like this is great because I'd only listened to Disturbed, and then I got exposed to like this. I was like, this is like a whole different thing, like than what I'm used to hearing.
Seven Dust is really cool. They got like kind of bluesy vocals. Their singer, man, he does R. He can do it all. His vocal style is just so badass. Lushan, what's it? Not Lushan. It starts with an L. Anyway, he's from the Nashville area as well. He lives in Atlanta. I guess he has family in Nashville. I saw a Seven Dust acoustic show at the Exit Inn one night, and they just
Uh,
sat there playing acoustic. And he was just like basically like an electric acoustic show. He's like basically, I'm up here. It's like a family reunion up here. Like I got my uncle over here, and like all his friends and stuff. And it was like a big party at Exit Inn. It was pretty cool to see that. Um, so what's I already asked you that. You guys have merch? I mean, do you have merch?
I do have merch. I got a shirt for no one. I can go grab one real quick if you want me to. I got a shirt for my first single called For No One. I got two different types, like two different designs there, and then I got on my Spotify. There's a hat for more like 32. It says 16 tons, more like 32, and I also got a shirt with the album cover on it for that too.
Now, do you
So you
have
can
physical
find
merch? Is it physical merch or is it like
it's a print to
print to
order
garment?
right now,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna print to order a lot of them for myself here next year and start selling them at my shows.
yeah. Um, I like for me, like for my podcast, I do it too. I do the print to garment stuff. I got my logo on the back, and then I got this on the front, just to see what it looks like. It's easier to do that because then you're like, okay, I don't like the way it looks now. Let me change this and try something before you actually get them all printed, because it's hard to see what it actually looks like on a mock-up on a design online, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
I like this. I mean, it was cheap. I made $1. I made $1 back for selling it because every shirt I sell, I get $1. Um, but yeah, I like merch. So no um but anyway, give everybody out there um 2 records that they need to check out.
Son of Dad by Stephen Wilson Jr. and Lonerism by Tame Impala. Those are
Lonerism.
my Lonerism. Yep. Those are two of my favorite albums.
All right, I will look those up myself. Um,
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you a couple more ending. I do have kind of like some ending questions. Just basically just nothing's really. But what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Well, for a long time it was Interstellar, but for the first time this year, I watched Tombstone. Tombstone's my
Oh,
favorite movie. Tombstone's my
cl-
favorite movie.
classic. And the lines, they have so many memorable lines in there. Everything, man. That's a great
Yeah,
movie. I watched that actually. I think I watched it earlier this year or earlier last year, but I had to revisit it because it's a good movie. It's a classic.
it is. For years, my dad was like, "You gotta watch Tombstone. You'll love it." And I was like, "I just don't got time. I don't watch anything anymore." And then I finally got some time, and I watch TV very rarely and stuff like that now. But I got the time and I watched it, and I was like, "This is the best movie ever." I think.
Well, this is what now you need to watch Tombstone and write a song about one of the characters.
Okay,
You know?
I have to be Doc Holliday.
Yeah, well, duh. But no, 'cause, like I know people, I know artists that do that. They'll watch it. They're like, oh yeah, this song was inspired by Pulp Fiction or something. Not really Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction, but people get inspired. You get inspired everywhere, any day.
Oh, you said Pulp Fiction. That's another one. That's up there, man.
Ah,
That's
it's a great
close.
movie,
It's a
man.
close one, man.
Yeah, I love, I
Some good
love,
ones.
I love a lot of the old. I mean, it's crazy that I say they're classics. They are, and I was there. I was there on the days they were released. Like
Yeah,
I saw Pulp Fiction opening weekend in the movie theater. Not
I think
Tombstone.
movies were just better back then, man. Movies were
I
better.
I agree. Of course, when I say that to some people, they're like, "Ah, it's just because you're old." I'm like, no, I feel like everything is too CGI and too much special effects, and it's like it ruins all. Like I guarantee you, most movies nowadays are shot in a green screen, and they're like, "All right, cut," and then they add everything back in production, and they're like,
Yeah, and like I think it shows with the actors. I think like when they're actually in like a scene with like a set, like not a green screen, they're actually feeling the character more. I think that's part of the reason.
oh yeah, like if it's you're supposed to be in a diner or something and you're in an argument with somebody, but you're not in a diner, you're just sitting at a table in a green screen and you're arguing. It doesn't give you the same feel when you're actually in a diner because you get in the
Yeah.
diner, you get the smell of the diner, you just feel, it's
Yes. Exactly.
everything's a vibe. Even though that word is used so much nowadays, oh, it's such a
It's
vibe. But it's true, everything is a vibe.
yeah, for
Whether it's
real.
like I said a song the other day, I was like, yeah, man, I was talking about this I forgot it was this artist I was talking to my buddy about. I was like, "Yeah, man, definitely a bop." He was like, "What? A bop?" And I was like, "Dude, yes." He's like, "I don't know what you mean, man." I'm like, "Ah, you're old," but he's not old. He's younger than me. But and
It's a bop.
I had to explain to him what bop meant. And he's like, "Oh, it totally makes sense now." I'm like, "Yeah, it's from like the 50s word. It's from the word be bopping because when you would hear something, you'd be like, all right, you're bopping, and then it just became
Yeah.
a word. Now it's just bop, and it's like yeah, okay, 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 but you got me. But it is what it is. I'm not cool with the slang these days. I still stay rad and cool.
I try to keep up with it too, but some of the stuff is getting past me now.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
I'm feeling my age, man. I mean,
you're young, you're a
yeah,
youngster.
I know, but like these kids are coming out with new words every day, man.
We my buddy he has a podcast with his friends where they interview people as well, but it's 3 of them with 1 guest, which is kind of cool because it takes stuff off one person so somebody else can talk. But I like the one-on-one with me.
Yeah.
Um, but they had our friend's son on there, and he's 18. So they were like, "All right, give him some cool slang, man." So they're trying to figure out what the slang means, and they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "It means this." And they're like, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "Well, one, I know things, and two, I work with a bunch of youngsters, so I know all these words.
Yeah.
You know, I hear them all the stuff. You know, like he didn't, they didn't, they said he said so they said the kid said the word sus, and they're like, and I was like, it's sus, like it's kind of suspect, you know, kind of like, oh, they're like, oh, yeah, they knew cringe, obviously, they knew cringe. That's pretty self-explanatory, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, but I think most of the time, man, these words aren't hard to figure out. Most of the time, they're either shortened or it's just, you know, yeah, basically just shortened most of the time. You know, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's no different than when I was a kid. We had words that our parents were like, "What are you talking about?" And when they were kids, their parents were the same way. You know, but
Exactly. Yeah.
it is what it is. Well, my friend Cole, I really enjoyed shooting the stuff with you. It was a good time. I think we had a good time. You have a good time?
I had a really good time, man. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for being my first like podcast appearance. This is cool.
Cool. It can only get better from here.
Yeah. I don't know. This is pretty good, man. If it gets better, then we're on a good
Yeah,
road.
yeah. I mean, okay, all right. It can only go down from here. No, okay.
You're
Yeah,
right.
I yeah, man. Definitely, that's another thing too, man. Like, how did you find me? First off,
Found you on social media, I think. I think one of us found each other on there and followed.
okay, it
One
might have been
one of us
that.
followed the other one from a reel or something, I think.
Yeah,
It was on Instagram.
yeah, I sometimes I wonder how people find me because I don't do a lot of promoting.
Yeah.
Um, this will be my second actual video. So now I'm doing video. So I was waiting to get my background done. I was waiting to get my intro done.
Yeah.
I don't have my outro yet, but I don't really need one right now because if they make it this far, I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Um, but uh, but yeah, so now I'm gonna start promoting with the reels, and then what I do, I'll tell you about the rest of it after we get off here. But
Okay.
Coleman, I really appreciate it. Your song, More Like 32, is phenomenal. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Like I told you before, you know, it's not it's out of my comfort, but it's not really out of my comfort because I do listen to a lot of music. It sucked me in right away. You have an amazing voice. Um, and the band sounds great. If you ever have a touring band, there you go, you got them right there. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, I heard it, loved it, sounds good. Is there a music video for it too?
Not yet. Just like TikTok clips right now.
Okay,
Maybe we'll do it. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. It's a lot of money.
because I saw you in the coal miner gear and stuff.
Yeah, I took that was just for like just for TikTok,
Cool,
but
cool,
that was
cool.
kind of like the idea of what a music video would be, maybe.
I mean, you can just make yourself a low budget one. Oh, that's what I meant to ask you real quick too before we go. And I wish I would have asked this earlier. 32. You said that when you recorded the song, well now it's kind of more rocking, not what you want. You kind of wanted more bluegrassy. Have you ever thought about just also down the road releasing a re-recorded like acoustic version?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot, actually, even lately. I thought I think I can just give my producer some like I can throw him some more money and he can give me a new mix, basically.
And then take that and then you could add it to that single that's already up and be like, you know,
Yeah.
like another version of it, you know? Do you think releasing singles at a time is more it benefits the artist more than it does by releasing an album?
I think the way that things are right now, if you're looking at it purely as like if you're looking at it as purely as a business thing, it makes a lot more sense to just release singles, I believe, because the attention span of people these days is like you gotta like they recommend like you release a song every 6 weeks, which I think is crazy.
That's it.
So like yeah, I think it's a better idea that way. But as an artist myself, I really would like to just put out an album, but um, you know, costs and time. Like singles are easier to just get out there.
Yep. And there was a band that I saw recently where they've been releasing singles. Um, for like for like the last 2.5 years. The band Falling Universe. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah.
Okay, they released singles for the last 2 years, and then the album dropped earlier this year with two more songs on it. And people were bitching about it because like, oh, these are all old songs. These are all old songs, and I was like, they were all old songs, but they were all singles that he was putting together for an album, and every single had the logo of the album on it, But guess what? That album still went number one because
Yeah.
people still bought it. So yeah, it's just, but I think, yeah, like back in the day, I wish we were going with the single route was something that was around back then because um it as a business thing, it works, but as an artist, I go the old school way and just drop a whole record. Drop a record
Yeah.
and let it go. But how many records do you listen to though? And you're like, yeah, that's a skipper. That's what I think people are trying to get away from is the skippers. And then if
Yeah.
you release single, everybody loves those songs. You put them on a record, everybody loves that record now because it's all,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
uh, all right, Cole. Well, I appreciate your time, man. I know it's we both just got off work, so I think dinner's probably in the future for both of us.
Dinner's in the future for me. this
All
this
right,
man
man.
doesn't skip meals.
All right, Cole, man. Appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Thank you, Russ.
No
You have a
problem.
good one.
You too.